Okay, so I got this new module here. I think I talked about it in a video that I've done before, where I was talking about like octatrack sampling stuff. I'll try to put it here. I don't know how this works. It's called Loquelic Iteritas Percido. I think that's how you pronounce it, and it is a monster. Why don't I start just by, let's just patch it into, I'm gonna patch it into here, into this scope here, so we can kind of take a look at what it does. Then I'm going to go from there into the Desmodus Versio, which is a reverb also by Noise Engineering. I'm going to go from there into this compressor here, just because I like to put things into that. Because then if I'm doing like actual stuff with drum machines, then I can use the sidechain on that to sidechain. And then we'll go into the out. So that's a lot for now. Hang on, let me turn some stuff down. Okay, so I've moved these cables to kind of be looped around here just so you can see the face of the module better. Right now, in this case, I've got the Acid Rain Maestro, which is just like LFOs galore, and you can also kind of like draw your own shapes. I've got the Loquelic, I've got Scales here with a black faceplate because I went through a phase. I've got Desmodus Versio for reverb, and I've got the WMD MSCL compressor. Then up here, I've got Steppy for just doing like trig sequencing. I've got the Zero Scope here, which has been super useful for seeing what this actually does. I have headphones, and then I have out. So I've taken the envelope out here and put it into the scope, and then I've got the audio out just going directly into the mixer, skipping the effects for now. The most important thing maybe about this module is the envelope. I think most of the controls kind of have to do with it, so I'll explain how that works. These three knobs here are the shape, the curve, and the time of the envelope. So looking at the shape knob, if I hit it, then when it's all the way to this side, then it's a falling down shape. If I go to the middle, it's a rise and then fall. And then if I go all the way up, then it's a just rise up. And then if I play with the curve, then all the way to this side is kind of like an exponential. If I go to the middle, it's a linear shape or curve. And then if I go all the way to the end, then it's like, I think this is logarithmic, it's just much slower, kind of like will eventually taper off. And that kind of applies for all these different things here. So if I turn it to exponential rising up. Okay. And then finally, the last knob for envelope is time, which is just how long it goes for. So if I turn it all the way down, it's like a little blip. At about 12 o'clock. And then if I turn it all the way up, it goes for a little bit. The next thing is the pitch. There's two pitch knobs. You can kind of play with them. The different algorithms kind of treat them differently. So there's two pitch knobs. There's a master control here. So if it's set all the way to the left, then B will be synced to A. If it's in the middle, they're kind of just like free running on their own. And if it's all the way to the right, then A is synced to B. You can also tap it to like do fine tuning or coarse tuning. So if I just go into free mode here, you can hear coarse tuning and then fine tuning. The pitches can be affected by the envelope. So in the same way that you can see like the sound, the amplitude, or it's a VCA in here. It's like the volume is going down with the envelope. I can also make the pitch do the same thing. Or go up. So with everything down here, you don't really hear much of the second oscillator. But if I turn any of these knobs up, then you'll start to get the second one kind of affecting it more. So I can like turn them both. Or cool. So now we've handled these three and these four. So the next thing is the mode of the module. So there's this trig mode where you can hit this button, or you can also send in a trigger on that input there. There's also loop mode, which will basically loop. You can see the envelope hopefully looping. And then there's also just free running. And this is like, it's just always going, but you can still trigger the envelope. And then we get to the fun stuff, which are kind of like the parameters that you can change. And so you've got morph, fold, mod, and damp. And they all kind of affect the sound in different ways, depending on which algorithm you have selected. So there's 3 algorithms here. There's VO, SS, and PM. And if you look at the manual, you can see kind of what they really do. But in general, I find it's just more fun to just twist the knobs and see what's going on. Because also there's a lot of mathematical symbols for at least one of them, and I didn't really do super well in math. So I'm just going to show you. So the morph here, and actually for this one, it might be a little bit better to use the audio on the scope. I really hope you can see the scope because I've been talking about it a lot. So let me get rid of the envelope part, and then send the audio back to the scope. Audio come in from the scope. So this will just capture the audio that is coming out of here and let us see it, and then it'll go to the reverb. And then I'm going to go from the compressor back to the out. All right, so real quick, morph just changes the shape of the waveform. So it goes from like sine to like a saw to like a square. Fold, as you turn it up, we'll just start to do some wave folding. So you can kind of see the shapes kind of do that wave folding thing that things do. Mod does some like phase modulation. I don't know what that is, but it does it. And then damp also does some stuff. Anyway, you can just see that like these knobs here on the right will just change these values. The other thing is these knobs on the left will affect the same values or the same kind of effects on the waveform, but they'll do it with the envelope. So you can hear it kind of goes from like square to a sine with the envelope. And if I go the other way, it'll go from sine to square. So it's the same for all of them. Yeah, I think that's basically it. You can play with the different algorithms and see what they do. And I'll leave a link to the manual if you want to see it in the show notes. But yeah, so that is this module. So let's maybe make something with it. So I am in clock mode on the Maestro. I'm going to hit low, and that's going to set me to 120 BPM, which is probably a nice place to start. I'm going to patch the clock of the Maestro into the steppy, and we're going to patch the reset into the steppy. Actually, I'm going to take the reset from the Maestro and molt it so that I can give it to both steppy as well as scales, because I've got scales in sequencer mode. The out of scales, out B of scales, and that's going to go into pitch A, and I want the trig from scales to go to trig on the Loquelic. And so now I'm going to, let's just like record a basic sequence here. So like, let's just make that our sequence for now. And so if I hit mute here, I think it should start playing. It's not playing. Why not? Oh, because I'm not actually clocking. I'm not actually clocking the scales. Right, so I want to use the steppy into there. And so now, dun. Oh, there we go. Maybe slightly longer. You know what? I want to go lower actually too, so I'm gonna go. Okay, that seems like a good low spot. All right, so let's make a new sequence. Let's make this simpler. You know what? This would be maybe more fun with drums. Actually, let's just play with this for a little bit. So. All right, so what if we modulate time? And I'm just gonna have it kind of go up. So we've got a clock mode, have it go up. I wanna do slow, 16, 1. What else would be fun? So I have swapped out the scope that used to be there with a MIDI module, and I've swapped out the headphone thing there that used to be there because there wasn't room for it anymore. I just put some blanks in. I'm also now, I've got the Digitakt here, and I am sending clock and transport from here into there. And this is now clocking the steppy as well as the Maestro. Everything else on the patch we did is basically the same, although I think I moved some knobs while I was adjusting things. But let's try to make a jam here. I am just going to clear this pattern. So those are the sounds that I have right now. So yeah, I think I also lost the notes I had in before, but okay, so let's add maybe just some hats. Where's my kick? Why am I in chromatic? I haven't used this thing in a minute, have I? Am I muted? Aha, I'm muted. I was in pattern mute. This was muted. If you hold down Func and hit bank, green means global mutes. Purple is like just muted for this pattern. So now everything should be on. Cool. Sidechain this signal is what I was talking about before. So if I want to sidechain, I'm gonna D here. Kind of like that. Modulate the mod value. And I just want that to be. And actually, Maestro just added the ability recently to set the amplitude. If you hold down high and mute, you can actually select, like for tractor, I want amplitude to be like 25%. Let's go down to the PM pattern, or PM algorithm. All right, what else can we do here? Maybe a more interesting sequence. So how about something like... Oh. Better remove these for now. All right. Let's try to get like it's like a chill sound. I moved the pitch. I think no, pitch is still there. Oh, because I was just too low. So I've got like a basic sound here. It's kind of more chill. But there's some stuff we can do to it to make it less chill. So I am just going to record a sequence here. All right, so that's our sequence. So now if I hit play here, I'm gonna turn off the drums too. While since I used this. If I move pitch B's envelope, it does some cool things. So why don't we play with that? So pitch B envelope, and let's give it random. So random goes to 1, and maybe just like every half note will do it. I want it to be smooth, and I also want it to not move that much. So high and mute there lets me set the amplitude of how much let's attenuate it. It's like an internal attenuation. So now maybe faster, maybe more attenuation. So time could be fun to move around. So once again, I'm going to go maybe, let's do like slow 16, 2, and we will have that just go up and down. Cool. And let's not have it go that far either. So on 2, I'm gonna I moved the kick to 1, 4, and 11 here, so why don't we change our side chain to that too? Oh, that's pretty cool. So that's moving the damp envelope. So I think let's move that too. So I'm going to grab number 3 out of the Maestro and damp's envelope here. And 3. Throw our claps back in. And what if we kind of got crazy with our open hat? It's kind of a lot. But if we go to source here, let's go to amp. Let's throw an LFO on that actually. So let's do it on amp decay time. And let's change the speed to be a little more kind of all over the place. And by default, we'll keep the amp a little bit, or the decay a little bit shorter. Alright, this is kind of funky. Let's make our symbol our open hats now. That's too much. Alright, I'm going to copy this pattern. I'm going to go to pattern 2, pasting it there, because I think it'd be nice to be able to go back to 4 on the floor. So back to track 1. So our side chain is still going. Let me pause it for now. Turn this down. So our side chain is still kind of relying on what I put in the steppy. And so as we're introducing more patterns here, it would actually be kind of cool to have the side chain switch to that. And so what we can do for that is actually go to track 8, the MIDI track here, and I'm going to click channel 1 in the source menu. And now if I put notes there, I can take what I'm getting from the side chain and use Trig now. And so now I'm sending a MIDI note for each time the kick hits here. So now we should hear. Yeah, so we can see every time there's a note here, that goes. Cool. And so now what we need to do is go back to pattern 1 and then go to track 1, and our trigs are 1, 4, 11, so let's add this. I really miss my octatrack right now, because if I had that here, I would just be beat repeating. I would be echo freezing constantly. But maybe you're not sad about that. This is Desmodus Versio, fully wet. Just playing with that tone knob, so fun. So I switched to the SS algorithm here. We're getting some like bell-like sounds. Playing with the shape here. Bumped the pitch knob there. I think I fixed it. I'm gonna switch that to fine in case I bump it again, it won't move it as much. I'm gonna switch this one to fine as well. See what I mean about this module getting crazy? This is the VC or the VO algorithm. That's cool. playing with the master switch there. Back to the PM algorithm. Now we're in the loop mode. I don't know what's going. Oh, I guess it's looping. So it loops every time the envelope triggers, and so since we're modulating the time, it's going to like almost audio right there. Kind of tired of this open hat. Wish I had a filter here so I could just turn this whole thing down. I guess I do kind of have one in the reverb. If I turn the wet all the way up. Actually, I can turn it to free also and take out the trigger. It's kind of cool without the trigger, just the envelope is not doing anything, so we just get the tones. That's kind of cool on its own, too. Let's change the sidechain as well. Lose the sidechain here? Is it muted? No. Oh, did I not set the source? Yeah. There we go. That's much better. Sorry that wasn't working before. Alright, so cool. Alright, I think it's time to wind this down. thanks for watching. Let me know if there's any questions you may have. I need to turn you off. Yeah, let me know if there's any questions you have about what I've done here, how I'm setting any of this stuff up, why I haven't used this in a while, why I'm not making more Octatrack tutorials. I will do that soon. This is too rambly. I'm going to try again.